Outside the casino, Martin stood under the dim lights, phone in hand, eyes fixed on the half-open door. He called Bill, his voice tense. But Bill only replied curtly that he would meet him at the country club in 15 minutes before hanging up abruptly, leaving no room for interrogation. Not long after, Bill arrived at the club. Calm and composed, dressed in a dark suit, his gaze cold but unable to hide the weariness from days of tension and calculations. He walked straight to the bar, ordered a double bourbon on the rocks, and didn't glance at Martin even once. Martin looked at him, half suspicious, half irritated, then asked if Bill was going to pay. But Bill ignored the question, his eyes distant, clearly refusing to discuss what had happened. The air between them was thick like fog, a truth left unsaid, an agreement untouched. At the same time, in another corner of the city, what seemed like a random meeting was actually the beginning of a chain of events that would alter the entire landscape. At a small diner, Leslie and Hayley sat across from each other. A worn-out plastic table between two women with different pasts and motives, yet their eyes met with calculation. Leslie spoke, her voice layered with implication. "So, friend, how are we going to help each other?" Hayley didn't respond, just flashed a wide grin, and in that moment, a fragile, dangerous alliance was born. Both carried a burning grudge against the Dupree family, an unnamed resentment that had smoldered for a long time. Now, with fate pushing them into each other's orbit, revenge was no longer a distant notion. It had begun to take shape. Meanwhile, across town at the police station, Jacob and Smitty were having a secret conversation. In a cold room under harsh fluorescent lights, Smitty whispered to his in-law that he had discovered a shocking connection between Vernon Dupree, the man manipulating operations from the shadows, and Detective Marcel Malone, the very man who was supposed to be on the other side of the law. The handshake between underground power and the law had been uncovered, and now they were no longer just outsiders in the game. At that moment, in Ted's office, a symbol of power and control, Eva and Kat were locked in a brutal confrontation. Eva snarled, unable to hide her contempt, calling Kat a selfish, spoiled whore. But Kat only gave a cold smirk and replied mockingly, "Is that the best you've got?" Their eyes locked, and in that sterile room with its white walls and tidy desk, a war was brewing. Perhaps they were being dragged into a strange mentorship, where Kat, once the queen, now had to train Eva, the unwanted successor, for a role she herself had never truly mastered. As darkness began to seep into the edges of the city, outside a small bar, Andre stood with Ashley. Her arm wrapped around his shoulder, neon lights casting vivid colors on their faces, emphasizing every glance, every smug smile. He whispered in her ear, "Ready to cause a scene?" A line that signaled the start of a new act. But inside, Danny sat alone. She threw her purse onto the bar, eyes red, lips pressed tight to hold back the rage bubbling beneath. The camera, cold and calculating, panned to Andre and Ashley holding hands at a nearby table, laughing, radiant under the dim lights. Danny watched them, her gaze sharp as a blade, and they noticed her too. No one looked away. A tension-filled triangle was stretching to its limits. The date between Andre and Ashley, seemingly lighthearted, might not end with a kiss or a gentle walk out of the bar. Danny was there. She saw it all, and she had no intention of staying silent. Each detail, every glance, every whisper, every call, every hurried drink, was a link in a chain pulling them deeper into a game that had outgrown ordinary schemes. Characters who once seemed disconnected were being drawn into a shared vortex, where secrets cannot stay hidden forever, where loyalty will be tested and truths will surface in ways no one expects. Beyond the Gates is not merely a title, it's the pulsing heartbeat of souls trying to escape the prisons of their past. As Martin silently probed Bill, as Leslie and Hayley secretly mapped out a plan known only to them, as Jacob and Smitty pieced together fragments of a shadowy conspiracy, and as Eva faced Kat not just to argue but to survive, this is only the beginning. The darkness has never been more real. Every step, Every decision leads them deeper into a maze where the gates have opened, and there's no way back. There is no fury more intense than Danny's scorn, and beyond the gates carved that truth into the hearts of viewers. When Bill turned his back, choosing Hayley over her, Danny's world collapsed in silent humiliation. But that fall was not the end. It was the spark before the storm. Andre and Ashley may believe they're basking in the light, hand in hand, but they don't see the shadow rising behind them. Betrayal does not pass quietly. It lingers. It waits. And when Danny rises from the ashes, there will be no place for forgiveness. The coming days won't bring consequences. They will bring reckoning.